All right, so I work for Aster Data. We're up in San Carlos, California. I want to give you a quick background on who we are as a company and talk about how we fit in with sort of the big data environment, particularly MapReduce and Hadoop. Quick background story. We were started by our founders out of Stanford University. Tasso Argyros, our CTO, was in the distributed computing group for David Sheraton, who happened to be one of the investors in Aster, as well as other companies like VMware and Google. And it was some of those technology innovations around distributed computing that our founders decided to sort of commercialize and try and bring out to the enterprise. So our first product was NCluster, which stands for N number of nodes, scale out to as large as you need to support your data analysis. And MySpace was our keynote account at that time. So they were about 100 terabytes at the time. They're about half a petabyte now. And the other innovation that we announced in 2008 was our implementation of MapReduce. So we've actually implemented MapReduce with a relational database and provided it through this SQL MapReduce interface, which we'll be talking about in a session later, which is very interesting and innovative. So essentially what you have then is an MPP database with an integrated analytics engine that can not only allow you to program in a declarative language like SQL to access the data, but also procedural code like Java, C++. We have a runtime for C#, Python, R, etc. So people that are familiar writing jobs in MapReduce can also do that on this platform. And we have an MPP connector with Hadoop to be able to move data in between Hadoop and Aster as needed for business analytics, which is exactly what a lot of our customers do. I won't go through all of them, but the ones circled here in red actually have Hadoop coexisting with Aster Data. I'll talk a little bit about share this. Some of these are deployed in the cloud on Amazon EC2, some are on-premise, anywhere in scale from 1 terabyte up to half a petabyte. So then what this looks like from a technology perspective is an MPP database, which scales out linearly on commodity nodes, fault tolerance, all those types of things. And the in-database MapReduce framework that we developed takes care of all the parallelization of both the data itself, the SQL queries, as well as the procedural code that you can push down and run next to the data. And then we try and make it easier for the developers by providing an integrated development environment, as well as some pre-built analytics for things like k-means clusters, sessionization, clickstream analysis, a lot of the things that our customers have asked us for, and we've packaged up and then make available through SQL so that BI tools and SQL analysts can go after that data directly. So people ask next then, well, how do you fit in with Hadoop? Rather than me putting up a 2x2 matrix, I pulled this from Hadoop World last year, where JP Morgan Chase talks about all the systems in their ecosystem, everything from transactional systems that look at low latency, smaller data volumes, up to where they positioned Hadoop and MapReduce for more unstructured data, a little bit higher latency. So batch ETL, batch analytics are some of the things they do with that. OLTP reporting, or sort of lightweight reporting on the lower latency side. And Aster Data would fit somewhere in the middle, more for the fast, interactive queries. So we have a lot of people that, like we hired somebody from LinkedIn who said we need to do a lot of data exploration really, really quickly on big data sets. So those are the kind of areas where we get involved. So that's how Share This has implemented this. Essentially, Share This is taking all the shares that you send out for a blog post or something like that. They aggregate that, and they're looking for patterns in terms of what you share with your friends, because that's a better indicator of your preferences than just clickstream. So they bring in data from their environment through Hadoop. They do the pre-processing, load it into Aster Data to do BI reporting through MicroStrategy back to the publishers to look at behavioral trends. And then they can do backups in an MPP fashion on Elastic Block Store through Aster and still be able to access that. And you kind of see how it all fits together here. So that's one example. ComScore is another good one that we'll talk about later. And if you come to Peter Pulowski's session, he'll talk about the SQL MapReduce syntax, how it works, and talk about some of the trends that we see around distributed computing and need to bring all this technology together more for the enterprise to be able to take care of it, and not only for the developers but for the business users, trying to make it as easy as possible. So that's it.
Great. Thank you very much. Great, thank you very much. Next up is Sam Charrington of Advisory.